Reinhardt is a hero that at the streamer tier of the game is deemed to be weak, easily counterable, with an obvious playstyle that they understand with great depth. But after reviewing your replays, I've noticed that Reinhardt has an entirely new meta dominance for the average player. And you have to respect the rules of engagement like the top players do, otherwise he will be a terror in your games. Rein's buffs have been substantial, with the shield health and shield regeneration both going up. What you'll expect Rein to do now is make a lot of space on the front line, be very resistant to the anti-tank damage types that you're used to just rolling any tank. Between his shield and the improved armor health, Bastion, Mauga, Reaper will all struggle to deal with Rein, which used to be easy answers that any average player could feel confident in swapping to defeat a Rein. But even worse, there's harsher decisions up against other tanks that maybe have good matchups against Rein's team. Junker Queen or Diva can rampage through your backline, but with the shotgun damage type, will get slowed down against Rein. It's no longer easy to just put Roadhog on the front line and win for free. In today's video, we're going to go down a variety of different scenarios to upgrade your game sense to deal with this character. You can send in more replays to the Google Form submission link in the description, and we'll keep making content that helps out the average player in upcoming videos. But first, a quick message from today's video sponsor. Today's video sponsor is HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh because they send delicious, easy to follow recipes directly to your door with fresh ingredients. Meal planning can be annoying, especially if you're like me and like variety, but don't like the mental energy it takes to produce it. Make it easy when you dive into HelloFresh's biggest menu ever with 50 recipes and even more market items that support your lifestyle. Plus, when you sign up for HelloFresh, you get free appetizers for life. Make restaurant quality meals at home, starting with mouth-watering apps. And you can get one free appetizer per box while your subscription is active. The recipes are foolproof, even I can do them. The instructions are very clear and everything's pre-portioned, making it even easier. HelloFresh will save you a ton of time when it comes to prep, buying the ingredients, as well as the cooking process with meals that can be done in under 30 minutes. It's summertime and you want to be working on your tan from the sun, or like me, your monitor tan from gaming. Click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free appetizers for life. One appetizer item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. We're going to focus on support and tank gameplay today, as it'll give us a chance to talk about the resources of the team and the positioning up against the Rein. Our first clip, we're watching a gold Kiriko player who's failing to make a few key reads. Our playstyle was entirely fine for the first few minutes of the A defense because we had so much spam damage at the choke, and the enemy Zarya misplayed her bubbles, so she couldn't survive getting through it. Eventually, the enemy switches to Reinhardt, who's a much more robust and durable character now, and after our ults are drained out, we realize that we're auto-losing the frontline battle. There's two things going wrong here at once: misreading the tank matchup and misreading our support matchup into the enemy's comp. First up, Rein runs over Sig. That's any patch. That's been true in Overwatch 2, but you're going to expect that even up against a lot of other tanks that are quite robust now. On different support picks, ones that are greedier, that have a bigger tank uptrade, such as Ana or Zen, you might get away with applying debuffs onto the Rein and punishing him for aggressing onto your tank. But Kiriko does not do this. Kiriko's cleanse allows her tank to play more aggressive. So if you give resources to a tank that's just losing the neutral, you actually don't have either the big healing of Baptiste or the playmaking opportunities of the greedier, more fragile backline supports. Kiriko's powerful enough that you can make an adaptation to still win here. The better read you can make in this scenario is when you notice that the enemy Rein is overwhelming your tank and they're not going to be able to win, is to aggress elsewhere. Because Rein is strong at taking brawls against a lot of tanks or close range characters now that he's overstated, but he's also weak at peeling back for his team. Healbotting the Roadhog, who doesn't win straight up running at the Rein anymore, baits him into further confidence to continue his playstyle. That's what healing is oftentimes. Give it to the teammate who's going to go win for you. And if not, stop healing them there and go win by yourself. Because Ana is actually quite an exploitable target for Kiriko in a duel. But in these clips, because we're playing a defensive backliner position as Kiriko, the best we can do to counteract her abilities is to use Suzu on Anti, but we could take over the game by going to duel her, because she's actually the most exploitable target on the entire enemy team, and if we're never in position to fight her, she gets much higher healing values onto a tank that's already going to easily exist resist to absorb the shotgun damage of our tank. So as he aggresses, you need to aggress into his backline, because healbotting a down trade is never going to work. Healbotting is better and stronger when you're supporting a winning matchup. Kiri can feel extremely durable playing in the backline with escapes and a Suzu, but you also can use her mobility and wall climb to set up on crossfire angles aggressively. This will work regardless of the tank matchup. Looking for angles for your kunai damage first, healing second. A lot of supports can play this way, but Kiri's the best at it, and you'll employ this either if your tank is hyper mobility like Wrecking Ball or Doomfist, or if you're just losing the tank matchup and need to find value elsewhere in the fight. It'll feel scary because you'll get in duels and maybe lose them, but don't overcommit. You don't have to necessarily be the one to get the limbs in order to create value, because forcing the enemy to respond to your positioning and landing the odd headshot sets tempo to unravel the enemy's squishy backline, making it harder for them to support the tank battle easier. This is a way that you use your mobility to rob the enemy from having a straight up tank v tank matchup. It feels similar when an enemy tracer is lurking around in the backline or a Pharah flying over the top of the Rein. You have to stop them from setting up cleanly. Remember, Kiri's strengths are in her flexibility. Healbot to secure a winning tank fight, but flank dual Kiri to overcome a losing one. From the tank point of view, this starts to feel a bit more complicated because you expect to go to the objective to win the game. And the Rialto A checkpoint is one of the most defensible positions for a Reinhardt to anchor in the entire game. Our Platinum Diva player makes a few key openings in order to get us into the game, ignoring the Reinhardt at first to go aggressively at the backline squishy characters, the new micro missiles buff really ripping through the enemy Widowmaker easily time and time again. In this instance, GPH is just playing a little too fast each time, expecting that first advantage to then outmatch the mismatch on the brawl fight. Rein is weak to getting poked down outside of his range. And you as the mobility character, be it Diva, Tracer, whoever, only loses if you try to play too fast. If you try to close the distance to deal more damage quickly, or get impatient and allow the Rein to hit you with his melee attacks. The intensity of Overwatch makes it feel like it plays at a faster pace than you have to let it. What I would like to see our Diva hero do more often is once you open the fight with those first few kills, re-establish. Your first instinct should be to look around to scout what's going on, rather than tunnel vision on the first thing in front of you. What's the state of the kill feed? Where's my team? Where's the enemy? Making better matchup decisions will guarantee the win. So at any moment, we make the decision with our mobility to step down onto the cart to be swingable from the Rein, we're losing. We traded his backline, he traded ours. Our next flight should be to get out of this fight, as even just the Rein alone, but especially the Rein with an Ana, is always going to beat us. But we beat him by using our mobility to go above again. Maybe go spawn kill again. Maybe regroup with your team. There's a lot of better options than taking free damage on the Rein, who are not going to win this fight fast. This is a very high level part of an Overwatch team fight where you're deciding if you're going to soft reset or not. And as you fall, it means the rest of your team will now have to wait, losing ground on the map that they could have been soft holding before. And the more you survive from team fight to team fight, you're going to whittle away the amount of map the enemy has and make it easier for your team to whittle down the enemy's defenses and set up either their kill conditions or their ultimates. Instead, what you want to do is kind of like we spoke about with Kiriko. You can do this as a tank as well, especially if you have mobility characters to come with you. You want to maximize your uptime in their backline and use your advanced mobility to outposition the Rein. I think in general, a lot of players understand how to do this on high ground maps because it makes sense. The enemy squishes are on the high ground. You just keep going at them. The Rein doesn't get there. It's easy. Let me show you an example of me doing this on a fairly brawly low ground map. You can consider this for characters that have high mobility out of any class really, but even the tank. And the more you train your team, that's how you're going to play the matchup. They will eventually respond. I know a lot of teammates just expect you to stand at the enemy tank's face and fight it 24/7, but that's not the way to win when you're in a losing tank matchup. The way to win is to go at the squishies relentlessly, play the deathmatch game, utilize health packs, and manipulate the enemy's attention. Up against this Reinhardt on Li Jiang, anytime I feel him aggress towards me, I allow him to take useless space and dodge backwards. splitting up the team and allowing for crossfires into his backline, either for my teammates or for me. He pins at me, I fly away. He swings at me, I fly away. What we want to do is create a man advantage and a positional advantage to crossfire on him. Sustaining our position is the way to lose. If everyone's safe, you can work down the shield safely. And in fact, it can get a little confusing because if you watch high-level players, they will shoot the Rein a lot more than I'm telling you to do. And the reason is the rest of the team is playing better positionally. The enemy won't be out of position as much, and higher ranked players can work down the Rein's resources earlier in the fight. But you need the kind of comp to do that, and more often, for the 99.9 percentile, the enemy squishies will be making mistakes that you can exploit faster than the Rein will be able to trade on your team. Teamwork and execution can make either side of this playstyle work. With speed boosts, maybe Rein's higher damage outmatches your team, but with more mobility playing to sustain their positions, you actually win in the long fight. Because Rein's resources are more limited. As his shield starts to crack, he gets weaker and weaker. It feels a bit surprising because as a mobility character, you might think you have to win fast. But actually it allows you to win slow, dodging away and playing health packs. Our Huron Rialto almost does this, but doesn't know how to manage such a position. The mechanics and movement and fluidity is just all a little bit off here. First of all, know that a lot of these characters are kind of unkillable early in the fight by you. Try to avoid getting hit by Junkrat, Ana, Reinhammer, and instead be looking to make the funnel that you made into a hallway, but wanting to eat those cooldowns and draw the attention. Diva pulling aggro and eating like 3 players' cooldowns could have been insane here if we had the confidence to slow down, eat more damage, and use the health pack as our healer, and then just survive on the island that we've created for ourselves on the other side of the fight. That would allow our team to just move in forward. But instead, we fly back across the formation into a brawler position, like we just want to tough it up with all these characters, and it makes our health points go down to nothing, when we were in a winning position, pulling the Rein off of the objective towards us into Narnia, chasing us to a health pack, holds there longer, and will slowly work this fight down from the backside. It's because we dropped on the Rein from the front, instead of staying on the back, that everything we did was inefficient. We didn't have enough matrix when we were committed into the hallway due to that previous mistake, and once we see them all fighting us, we panic to try to escape to our team rather than survive on the island longer. There's actually a mini health pack down the stream around the corner, but you could bounce between these 2 packs to sustain yourself or just self-heal, because who's going to come chase you outside? None of them really want to, and baiting them to could either give you a kill or make space, but we make negative space when we demand healing onto a brawl that we always lose. There's certain characters you shouldn't really expect to hit you at range, like Rein, Junkrat, or even Ana's big cooldowns you should see coming from range and eat them. So you could be invulnerable from this kind of position if you slow down and focus on eating rather than brawling. We can dive the Widow for a free kill, but not everything else. 2 more characters that will function even better at this playstyle is Doomfist and Wrecking Ball, who favor different types of geometry. Ball tends to like higher high ground, but I think Doom has higher skill expression and can do more damage in a brawly small room. Again, going at the Reinhardt as Doom can be a losing trade, but using your mobility to get in and out and manipulate the backline, that's the key to victory. All right, guys, that's everything for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave it a like, and don't forget to click subscribe and the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos come out. You can support the channel by checking out HelloFresh, linked in the description. Start eating better today. And if you've got replays you'd like to submit to be featured in upcoming content, go ahead and submit one to the Google form linked below. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.